This is episode 2 in my How to Get Started Backcountry Camping series, where I teach you everything I know about the ins and outs of getting out there. This episode is all about how we prep and pack our food for trips, with a couple bonus tips and recipes at the end, so stick around for those, since you're not going to make it very far unless you're well fed. The first thing that comes to mind for a lot of people are these pre-made meals that you can buy from a lot of big name retailers. In our opinion, they're not that tasty and ridiculously priced, costing anywhere from $10 to $20 per meal. For the price of 10 meals, you could potentially buy yourself a dehydrator and start making your own dehydrated meals. Not to mention the waste it creates. For us, it all starts here in our living room, where Castle grows some of the food we bring on trips from seed. This might not be for everyone, so I have a lot simpler options in store for you guys. If you don't want to buy a dehydrator, your best option might be to buy a dehydrated veggie mix, a variety of dehydrated meats, and combine these with things like minute rice or instant pasta to form the bulk of your meals. This is a great option, and we still throw these kinds of combinations in our barrel a lot of the time. As for our breakfast and lunch, we tend to prefer traditional things like oatmeal and cereal with powdered milk, as well as power bars for quick getaways, and obviously coffee, because I'm not paddling anywhere without a morning coffee. For lunch, we pack things like dried fruit, trail mix, dehydrated meats, and power bars, which fuels us through the afternoon, since neither of us crave a hot lunch. If you do require a hot lunch, instant noodles can be a great option. They rehydrate quickly as well as fill you up. For the first couple days of the trip, you can treat yourself by bringing food that will eventually spoil but stay good for the first couple days. Things like hard-boiled eggs, fresh fruit, or even frozen steak. If you're willing to step your game up and buy a dehydrator, it can not only save you money on camping meals, but also save you money on food waste at home. If you want to keep it super simple, you can dehydrate on-sale frozen veggies, frozen fruits, and canned meats, since most of the processing work is already done for you, and it'll make it last significantly longer than sitting in your freezer getting freezer burn. You just spread it evenly on the tray and turn the dehydrator on. To check if it's fully dehydrated, take one of the biggest pieces and try and break it. It should snap like a cracker. Castle likes to experiment with different things, and trust me when I say dehydrated yogurt is a treat. If you're willing to take things a step further, you can prep whole meals such as stir fries or chilies. Just make sure you chop things smaller than you normally would, but cook it just the same. Then spread it out on a silicone mat in your dehydrator. These mats are necessary when dehydrating food with lots of liquids. We recommend using canned or ground meat to add with these meals, since in our experience it rehydrates better than using actual chicken breasts, for example. We find the alternative to be less than desirable when rehydrated, usually having a crunchier or more chewy texture to it when rehydrated, which is off-putting. We often serve these meals in wraps just to add calories, since tortillas keep well on most camping trips. When dehydrating something new, Castle takes a measurement of how much is going on the tray and a measurement afterwards. This is a good way to ensure there is less food waste and we are packing the right amount for our meals. When it comes to packing our food for a trip, we like to use these cheap mesh semi-transparent sacks with a drawstring inside of a canoe barrel to make sure it stays dry. The mesh bags allow food inside to conform to whichever shape is needed, lets you see the food inside, and they shrink in size as the trip progresses to leave you more room in your barrel. We use multiple bags of various colors to differentiate breakfast from dinner and snacks. When it comes to portioning our meals for a trip, we like to lay it out on the countertop, a portion for each meal and each day, but for every 3 days of the trip, we add an extra day's worth of food. This is just in case something goes wrong, like carrying a cheap insurance. We prefer storing our food in a canoe barrel over a dry bag for its durability. I've personally witnessed squirrels, mice, and chipmunks chew holes in dry bags to get at food stashed away. Even known as kibi bag on our trip to Ishpetina Ridge a couple years ago. The barrel's way more than a dry bag, but give us confidence that our food will stay dry and free of tampering from animals. However, if you're in an area where bears are a concern, it's still best to hang your food, since a determined bear can break into a locked barrel. When on site, we usually use our water filter for the water we cook with, just as a double insurance. Stay tuned for our next episode on backcountry water. Castle doesn't follow any particular recipe when prepping food. Seasonings and ingredients are subject to what she has on hand and how it tastes. For camping meals, she eliminates oil as it will cause the meals to go rancid quickly, and she generally adds extra spices and veggies to every recipe she's trying because that's our preference.